Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church. And I'm here today to share one more time with you a passage of if you clause. Now, I've spent a couple of weeks talking about these, and I hope you've gotten a new insight into how God wants to work in your life. If you haven't, maybe this one last effort might work. I want to share from 2 Chronicles chapter 15. Now, this is the story of Azariah, the son of Obed, who is a prophet-like person who comes to Asa, the king of Israel, after a battle. So if you can sort of picture in your mind, here's the king coming back, victorious from a battle. And this prophet comes up, encounters him out on the way, and he says this. 1 Chronicles chapter 15, beginning with verse 2. Well, I'll do one. Then the Spirit of God came upon Azariah, son of Obed, and he went out to meet King Asa as he was returning from the battlefield. And here's what it says. Listen to me, Asa, he shouted. Listen, all people of Judah and Benjamin. The Lord will stay with you as long as you stay with him. If you will seek him, whenever you do that, you will find him. The Old Testament is the story of the people of Israel getting close to God, then falling away from God, feeling abandoned by God, then repenting and getting close to God. And then the cycle repeats itself. And it does it, I don't know how many times. Lots. It seems like for many people in many situations, as long as everything's going wonderful, we don't think much about God. Or we think about him, but there are other things more important. So Isaiah here knows that Asa is coming back from this great battle. He knows there are lots of things on his mind, and on the mind of the soldiers, and on the mind of the people that will greet them as they come back home. And so he shouts to him, listen, all you people. He talks about the soldiers, everybody else. Listen, listen, the Lord will stay with you as long as you stay with him. Well, that's the story of Israel's history. They don't do that. They don't stay with God. They get distracted. They get self-confident. I don't know what else. But here he says, if you seek him, whenever you seek him, you will find him. Here we have a picture of Israel and the army and this prophet and God. Now, I'm sure it's easy for the army to think about how they did it. I mean, after all, their physical bodies were the ones that fought the war or the battle. They were the ones that held the instruments of war and defeated the enemy. But Isaiah knows it wasn't their abilities that did that. It was God's. And the same is true for you and me. Now, maybe you have a self-esteem that's down in the bucket, or further yet, down in the basement, and you think you can't do anything. Well, that's not true. You can think it, but it's not true. You can feel like it, but it's not true. As my wife says repeatedly, feelings are not facts. The fact is, God is the author of everything we do. He is the sustainer. He is the source for your abilities. And I learned that a long time ago. And I've never left that point. Even though I have a PhD, I don't have people call me doctor. If you're listening to me and you're in my church and you're going to give me a hard time, forget it. That's not who I am. That's simply something I do. Who I am is someone who knows that God is the source. And like this says, if I seek him, whenever I seek him, under any circumstances that I seek him, I will find him because he won't abandon me or you. So these last couple of weeks, I've been trying to share some thoughts about what, if you'll do something, here's what God says. Well, here's what he says here. I won't abandon you. Oh, in the Old Testament he did, or at least it seemed like it. But in the New Testament, he's always here. And these words, these ancient words, if you will seek me, whenever, even after you've tried everything and everything's failed, even if you're just trying on a whim, well, what have I got to lose? Even those situations, if you seek for him, you'll find him and he'll be there. And that's the story of these last 2 weeks. I hope they've touched your heart, and I hope you've thought about some things. And I hope before this weekend is over, you'll find some quiet time to just sit and think about the goodness and the greatness of God. If you have a concern or a prayer, need, let us know. We'll do whatever we can as fast as we can to help meet your need. Thanks so much for listening. God bless you. I'll be back Monday with a whole nother series of thoughts. Take care. I'll see you again.